What's going on, guys? Cesar Media here. Another cold morning here in Michigan. It is Saturday. There's a lot of snow outside, and what I'm gonna be doing today is actually storing some of my cars. Some of them is gonna go in my garage, some of it's gonna go to my shop. And while I'm doing it, I figured I'll do a quick video about how much money I actually spent buying each car, and talk a little bit about what I have planned for the future. A lot of you guys seem to like the video I did on how much money I spent upgrading my Evo, but I didn't really talk about how much I spent buying the Evo itself. And some of the questions actually that came up on that video is, Cesar, are you wasting money, like $600 on intercooler piping? That's crazy. Well, that's just the retail for how much it goes for. It does not mean that's exactly how much I paid for the item. Like I said, I have a website, CesarMedia.com, where I get parts for cost and I sell to you guys for pretty cheap. And also because I have sponsors, I get a lot of parts for free. So just because the video says $30,000 doesn't mean I got all the parts at retail pricing. $30,000 is what you would have paid for retail, and that is why I opened my store, so you don't have to pay retail pricing on all these parts. And to clarify some things, most of the items sold on my website is drop shipped. So what happens after I get an order is I contact the manufacturer, and manufacturer will ship the item directly to your house. But I do have some items that get shipped directly from my house, like the ones here. I got like 10 packages over the weekend, and I need to go ahead and ship this out, drop it off at USPS. But yeah, let's go to my garage driveway and see what's happening here with this snowstorm we just had, and give you an idea of what I have planned for all my cars and how much I spent buying these cars. So many packages, and sometimes I sell stickers too. There's the Cesar Media window banner that's getting shipped to Washington State. And make sure if you guys buy stickers from my website to tag me on Instagram with the sticker and your car, and I will repost that picture for you. Thanks for supporting my video content, guys. Thanks for being my subscribers and fans. And here it's snow. So right now, obviously, I got the Corvette here, I got the Evo next to it, and I got the FD next to that, and then that's my daily Ram, and I got the FD in the garage. So I'm gonna walk you through, and actually I bought a trailer, guys. I'm not sure if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but I am super excited for the 2017 season because I can finally trailer my car to the racetrack, so I can beat the shit out of it and not worry about breaking it, because getting a tow truck from the racetrack sucks. So before getting in these cars and talking about it, I'm gonna have to get the snow off. Now, I know you guys might be bitching like, oh, Cesar, you treat your cars like shit, it's sitting in snow, what's happening? Well, you know what? I had a date to store my cars, but snow came so hard, so fast before I could store it, and this is just what happened. I mean, I covered all the vents and everything, so snow is not, you know, horribly impacting any of my cars. And it's sad to see my cars get plowed with snow, but it is just how it is here in Michigan. I'm gonna get it to nice and safe and warm environment real soon. So one thing that's important is to keep your car's battery on battery tender. So this is what's going on here with the Evo. It's on battery charger, so the battery doesn't die. Oh man, sorry Evo for keeping you so cold outside. So first up, we have the Dodge Ram 1500 Laramie edition. This is 2007. It's got about 130,000 miles, so it's not a low mileage truck, but it's very functional. It works great. I haven't had any issues so far. Laramie edition comes with the full leather sunroof and I think upgraded sound system. If you want to know a little more about this truck, you can check out my Dodge Ram Asian Redneck Build series. So basically, obviously, the reason why I got this is because I need to trailer my race cars. I'm gonna take my race cars to the track on the trailer, and I obviously need a car to tow with. Now, a lot of you guys are saying like, oh, Cesar, why don't you get a diesel? Why aren't you rolling coal? Oh, obviously, I love speed, I love torque. I wanted to do that, but the downside to getting a diesel truck is that you are gonna lose comfort for the most part. To get leather seats, heated seats, and sunroof is gonna be really hard on a diesel truck, let alone if you were to pay like $10,000 for one. So the price I pay for this truck is $11,500. It's also all-wheel drive, and it's obviously an option that you need here in Michigan. Now most of the time it's on two-wheel drive, but you can flick the switch and make it four-wheel drive, which is great. But it's an option you can't live without here in Michigan, especially if you have a truck that you want to tow stuff with. But it comes down to comfort, you know. I'm gonna daily a truck, and if I want to daily it, I do want it to be kind of nice. I don't really care much for luxury, like, you know, I'm not gonna buy a BMW or Audi just because I want to look fancy and be comfortable. I don't care too much for comfort, but I do want heated seats, remote starter. I have my sunroof. In order to spend the budget I had for a daily, the Laramie Edition gas truck just made sense. I'm not towing a house. I don't need a diesel truck, although I would love to have one to just hoon around. But for now, this gas 5.7 liter is plenty of power for hauling one car and a trailer, and it just made sense for me. So the price I paid for is $11,500, and I probably spent about $2 grand upgrading it, maintaining it, just because I can't keep anything stuck. You know what, actually I'm gonna go drop off all my packages right now to the USPS office, and also because I kind of want to drive around in my truck. Should have cleared off my hood a little better. I can't see anything on the hood. I'm hoping all this snow will just kind of fly off as soon as I reach a major road. It's extremely hard to see right now. We'll see how this goes. All-wheel drive for the win! Woohoo! God, I feel like Santa over here with all these packages. Woo! And the packages are dropped off. Alright, next up is my poor Z06 that's been covered in snow. Alright, here's the Z06. I'm gonna fire it up real quick and tell you a little bit about this car. There we go. V8. Woo! Sounds so good. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Z06 as I warm it up. I like to warm up every single one of my cars at least once a week in the winter time. It's good to keep your cars nice and fresh over the winter time as it sits. It's also good to move it forward and back just so you don't get flat spots on the tires. Of course, I'm gonna be jacking up the Z06 on all my cars once it goes to the garage tonight. And another thing you can do is, of course, put the battery on battery tender and keep that thing charged up. And you can also put fuel stabilizer in the fuel system to make sure that the fuel is nice and fresh for the winter time, because fuel corrodes and creates rust and all that. So top it up, put fuel stabilizer in it. And that's just some of the things I'll do before you winterize your car. So basically, you have seen the video of me buying this Z06, right? I had the CTS wagon when I lived in Indiana, and because I came back to Michigan, I needed a truck. And because I needed a truck, I bought the Dodge Ram, and CTS wagon was no longer needed. It was a good car, but I was trying to sell it for cash at around, how much was I asking? Like 17, 16-ish? And what's funny about the CTS wagon is that I traded that for the Chevy Silverado 1500. I think it was a 2008. I did one video on it and I posted all over my social media. But I got that 2008 all-wheel drive Chevy pickup truck with like 10-inch lift. I mean, it was a clean truck, but it has so many issues. Like the transfer case wasn't shifting from two-wheel drive to all-wheel drive. ABS light was on. Nothing was really working, but I knew that it was an electrical issue, and I'm somewhat okay with electrical problems. So I bought that for like $9,800, which is dirt cheap. I met up this guy in Ohio and picked it up, and after I fixed it up, probably spent about $1 grand on all the parts fixing it. I traded that truck in for the CTS wagon, which is worth like $6 grand more than what the Chevy was worth. And that's why I was dating the CTS wagon. And then CTS wagon, when I posted up for sale on Craigslist, this guy reached me out like, yo, I have a Z06, I need a winter vehicle, you want to trade? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna trade. And this Z06 is probably worth about 18-19 grand. So that's how I end up with the Z06. The plan, I don't know what the plan is, honestly. It runs great, and if you have seen my video of me purchasing it, you know that this car had some issues of breaking down. Now apparently it was just like an error in the ECU. These Z06s apparently have electrical issues a lot, and that's the reason why it freaked out on me. I came home, reset the ECU again, and never had the same problem. So the car runs fine. The only problem with the car is that it's got low fuel message all the time, because apparently another common issue with the C5 Z06s is that the fuel level sensor goes bad, or the corrosion happens within the fuel tank, and then the car is no longer reading fuel level. So basically it's telling me that it's always low on fuel, which is what's happening here. So if you remember from my video, some of you guys are like, Caesar, you're so bored for running the car like that with the car on low fuel. It's actually not low fuel. It had full tank of gas. It's just the car thinks it's low on fuel because the sensor is bad. But it's camp, it's nice. I don't know what the plan is. Like I said, I traded in. I'll probably flip it in the springtime, but I probably won't post it up for sale until I get my FD or Evo walking to a track day condition, because I can't live without a fun car. You know, a lot of people buy a project car, but they don't have a fun car to drive in the meantime. I had to have a fun car. I got my daily, which is turning into a fun car itself. But you know, on the side, I gotta have our fun car, a race car, because man, life is too short to have a boring car. And on top of that, the FD RX7, which has the same engine that came on the Z06 in it, is gonna be way faster, way lighter, way more agile, and more fun, honestly, than the Z06. So, you know, what's the point of keeping the Z06 when I have the FD RX7 that's powered by the engine that's being modified and lighter and better overall? So, you know, I'm gonna post it up for sale in springtime and try to make money off of this. It sounds great though. I mean, cams in this sounds awesome, but the cam profile is definitely not what I'm looking for. It boosts, basically. It feels like a boosted car at like higher RPM, and it starts getting power, and that is exactly not what you want on a track. So I'm gonna take this to my shop and store it inside. The wide body fenders on this is sexy as hell though. This is what happens when you try to get out in a rear-wheel drive cars with, I think, 305s in the rear. It doesn't matter how big your tire is. If you don't get traction in the snow, you're going nowhere. Check this out. Snow burnouts. Oh yeah. Alright, and then here's the Evo that you guys are all familiar with. This is a car that really started my YouTube channel, honestly. You guys have seen me almost die in a snow accident back when this car had green wheels. And I know some of you, a lot of you actually subscribed to my YouTube channel back then. And that was a couple years back, like maybe even 6 years back, 5 years back. So if you're one of those guys who subscribed to my YouTube channel back then, thank you for sticking around. This is where my YouTube has come to. I had like 5,000 subscribers back then, and now I'm almost 100,000 subscribers. So thanks to those of you who has been loyal with me for that long. So yeah, here's the Evo. I'm gonna be moving this in my garage. So I'm gonna go ahead and warm it up. Oh, I forgot how heavy this clutch is. Woohoo! Sounds so good. To be honest, I think it sounds better than my Z06 or my FD. To see a 4-cylinder camped out that sounds like a goddamn Harley Davidson feels great. And then you got the turbo on top of it that spools up and you can really hear it spooling. Woo! Awesome sounding car. Look at the snow melting under my hood. But anyways, let's talk about the Evo here. The Evo is really what started my YouTube channel. Like I said, I just recently did a video of how much money I've spent on this Evo to make it what it is. It's right now about 500 wheel horsepower, and I haven't gotten it dynoed in a long time, so I don't even know how much power it's making, to be honest. So first of all, how much money did I spend on buying this car? I think it was about $15,000 US. I bought this car back in college, right before I graduated college in 2010, and I have had it ever since, and it's been my race car ever since. It basically has come to a point where I don't have much else to do. So you know, I used to autocross this, and then I started tracking it, and I came to a point where I was like, well, this Evo is super clean, but if I kept racing it on the track, it's gonna get beaten and it's not gonna be as clean anymore. And I was like, I can keep beating it and eventually sell it for half the price it's valued at, or keep just street driving it and basically keep myself a clean Evo that I can share with my YouTubers. So I decided to keep it clean, keep it streetable, and that's when I bought the FD RX7. That's going to be basically a dedicated race car, which I'll just talk to you about in a minute in the garage. But that being said, the goal for this Evo is basically a street-driven fun car on the weekends. And power-wise, 500 wheel, it's plenty of power on the track. If you want to street drive it, if you want to go to Mexico, 500 wheel horsepower nowadays is like 300 horsepower. Back 5 years ago, it's, you know, everybody has 500 horsepower nowadays. It's not that quick. So I don't know what the plan is. It's still on pump gas, which means if I go E85, I can easily make about 150 to maybe even 200 wheel horsepower, make up the boost, more fuel, and E85, and I'll be making instant power. So I might go that route, I might wide body it, I don't know what the plan is. I mentioned selling it, but you guys basically rejected the idea of me selling it. Caesar Media, you know, this is you are the Evo god. This is why I'm here. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, it's for the Evo. So I think I'm gonna keep making videos of it. No reason to sell it, no rush on selling it. So I think I'm gonna keep it and I don't know, do more videos on it. I want to make sure. So the purpose of my YouTube channel, really, one of the reasons is to educate you guys, right? So I think in my first vlog I said I want to keep my YouTube educational, entertaining, and also informative, and I want to do that. And if the focus also is on Evos, I'm going to talk about Evos, and that's why I'm going to keep it. So for now I'm going to keep the Evo. I don't know what's to come in terms of mods. Maybe it depends on the sponsors I get for the Evo, but it's pretty much gonna stay the way it is for now. Now some of you are like, Evo, you have an all-wheel drive rally car, why don't you drive it in snow? Yes, I can, and yes, it's what's it made for, and I am definitely a driver's guy. I don't go to car shows and park my shit and, you know, just show it off. I don't show off my Evo, I drive it. The reason why I don't drive it in snow is because I don't want rust on my car. If I knew I was buying an Evo to build it, the last thing I want is rust on the chassis. And that's just what winter driving does to your Evos. Here in Michigan roads, in United States, the trucks spread salt all over the road, and salt will destroy your chassis. Mitsubishi just recalled a bunch of Evos, including mine, to get checked up to see if the subframe is getting rusted out. And I haven't taken in my Evo yet because I know it's not rusting. I know it's a clean chassis, and I want to keep it that way. It's the people that drive these cars in snow that destroys the chassis because of the rust that's causing these issues and recalls, and that is absolutely not what I'm trying to do with this Evo. If I wanted to hoon around in snow, I'll probably pick up like a, I don't know, piece of crap Evo that's on its way out, or like a 2.5 RS Subaru, and drive the ride around in the winter time. I have the truck for that, and that's just my choice. If you drive your Evo in the winter time, great. I would love to drive my car and do like snow rally and stuff, but only if there's no salt on the road, and only if I have snow tires on the car. Alright, so I'm gonna move my truck now and get the Evo ready for parking in the garage. Alright, truck is moved. The Evo is still here. Now, I'm gonna show you the difference between rear-wheel drive in snow versus all-wheel drive in snow. Look how much the tire is covered up right here.
almost up to my side skirts, or I mean upper part of the side skirt here. Now my Evo has summer tires, and I mean not just regular summer tires, but like high performance summer tires at size 275, which is basically like a snowboard, right? A lot of people think wide tires are better. Yes, it's better on the track, but it's worse in snow, because what's happening is you get like a snowboarding effect. The wider the tire is, the more it slides, so you want skinnier profile tires. But anyways, I'm gonna reverse this Evo into my driveway, and don't complain about my driving skills, because I'm wearing huge boots and I can't drive in these things. But let me just show you what it looks like. Actually, I gotta close my door because snow is gonna come inside. Okay, and I'm gonna open the window. But I'm out, just like that. So the Evo is out of snow, and I'm gonna park it in my garage after I move all my other cars. While we're here, actually, let's talk about the trailer here. The trailer I got here is an 18-footer trailer. I picked it up on Craigslist for how much did I pay? $1,300, which is a great deal. For race cars, make sure you have the dovetail, which is basically the back part here that slopes down. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's flat trailer, and then from here it tapers down, and that makes loading up race cars 100 times easier. All right, so now we got the FD. Okay, now we're in FD. So for those of you who are wondering, I have the LS6 FD and I have this 13B FD, which is basically bone stock except for minor mods. It's got bolt-ons and it sounds great, looks great, and it runs, but it has issues. It cuts out when I burst into it, and to be honest, I haven't had a time to work on it because I've been so busy getting ready for my Japan trip and Hawaii trip, and I've been working on my truck and the FD race car. So this has been just kind of sitting there. I got this for under $10,000 from my friend who went back to Japan, and he just kind of had to get rid of it. So, you know, I said, all right, you know what, I have a FD already, you know, he knows I'm gonna take care of it, so I bought it. The plan right now is to just fix it up to a point where it's street drivable, and I'll probably kind of drive around in the summertime and see how I like the rotary. For those of you who are telling me to do like a 3-rotor, 4-rotor swap, yes, I would love to if I had the money to, but I don't have the money all the time. I want to get the FD, LS6 FD up and running, so I have that to race for the next season first, and then I'll start working on this FD. I don't really know what the plan is so far. But you know what? These cars, for the price that I got it for, and the type of car it is, it's not gonna depreciate. You know, you look at your Supras, you look at your 300ZXs, the S2000s, even NSX, it's all appreciating in price. So, you know, to me, I like cars, and this was a good investment, honestly. So that's what it is. I'll keep you up to date on what's going on with this FD RX7. Now, I do want to give a quick shout out to House of Tech, because they gave me a quick tip and tricks to get this FD up and running and how to diagnose it. He even sent me like a vacuum line diagram, which actually I'm gonna show you this, because this is the reason why I don't want to work on rotary cars. For racing on a track, I just want something reliable, something extremely simple, and something cheap. If my LS6 blows up, whatever, you know, I'll just pick up another one for a couple grand from a junkyard here in Michigan. And here's a vacuum line diagram for the FD. Look at that chaos. Do I want to work on that on a track as I'm getting ready for the next session because one of these cracked? Hell no. And here is a simplified diagram for single turbo setup with basically all the unnecessary chips eliminated. Yeah, that looks better, but still, I don't want to be tracking down a vacuum hose leak on a track. You know, I would rather have something that's NA, something really easy, simple to work on, and reliable and cheap. So again, thanks to Hazard Tech for sending me a message. Hazard Tech, I hope you can see this. This is their YouTube channel. He has a he's a rotary guy. He's building a FD RX7 and great content. Go check it out if you are into rotary cars. So anyways, what's next? I guess the LS6 FD. All right, so man, it's quite a walkout digging these cars out. Screw the snow. So here's the Z06, Rotary FD, plow truck, Evo, my truck and another plow truck. And here in my garage, I got my race car project, LS6 FD RX7. On my cafe racer. Maybe I'll talk about the cafe racer too. So the LS6 FD, here it is. So I got this for how much did I pay for this? 15 grand, I think, which is really not that bad of the deal when you consider the fact that it has the stop deck rotors right here, and most of the bushings were done. It had the bolting roll cage in it. It already had the LS6 engine in it and a T56 transmission with various upgrades already. He already had the racing seats, which is the one I'm sitting in here, and you know, a couple upgrades. He also had the Sandberg mounting kit for the LS6 engine to go into it, which really adds up to a couple grand. AccuSump, you know, all these good quality parts on the car, which basically by buying this car I was able to save a couple grand building it and looking around for parts. So that's the reason why I bought it. The car was barely running. It was leaking power steering, coolant, engine oil, all kinds of mess. I barely made it home, and now I'm tearing it apart again to make it my own. The motor, the head came off to figure out the cam size, and now I'm gonna pull the block out. So maybe I'll put in a new clutch, maybe I'll do some other stuff with the drivetrain, but I really want to freshen it up. So the reason why I'm building it is obviously because it's going to be a track car. I want to race it at the tracks around here, which is like Waterfall, Gingerman, Grattan, Mid-Ohio, M1 Concourse, tracks like that. And yeah, if you are not following my LS6 FD video series, please do so by finding the playlist. And let's talk about the Cafe Racer then. The Cafe Racer is a project I never thought I would get into until I went to a vintage race weekend in Mid-Ohio. Basically at the track in Mid-Ohio, they have a vintage bike weekend where a lot of vintage guys come out with their motorcycles. So I was never a vintage bike guy. I had a Yamaha R6 in the past in college, and I almost killed myself like 100 times. And when I saw that, I told myself that I'll never get a bike. But I went to the vintage bike weekend and I just got hooked on vintage motorcycles. You know, there's something about the style, the uniqueness, and the fact that you can modify it however you want and nobody's gonna tell you that you did it right or you did it wrong really appealed to me. You can be yourself and, you know, basically create a bike on your own. It's not really a Harley Davidson. It's not really a sports bike. So you're in your own little group of people, and people are super friendly, and pretty much every time I go to a bike meet or a car meet with the bike, somebody's asking me about it. So, you know, I didn't build it to show it off. I just got hooked on it and loved the style, so that's why I built it, and I love it so far. If you're considering building a Cafe Racer, definitely check out my playlist for the Cafe Racer build series, and you'll get an idea of what I did to build it from stock, bone stock. So next plan was the Cafe Racer. Oh, I got the Cafe Racer bone stock CB550 1975 in running condition for $750, which I think is a great deal, and I believe I spent about $750 upgrading it, and yeah, it's great for $1,500. I think it rides and looks better than any other motorcycle out there. So the plan with this is actually I got sponsored by Anti-Gravity battery packs. They sell the tiny lithium battery packs for motorcycles, so I'm gonna mount that probably under the seat or under the suspension system, and I'm gonna get rid of the box under the seat. So that's the plan, immediate plan for the Cafe Racer. In the future I might go with like modern front forks. So a lot of people swap the front fork with big disc brake setup from modern bikes. So if you find like a 600cc CBR 600 or Yamaha R6 or something like that, you get the front fork setup and weld it onto the cafe racer, which looks more modern and looks aggressive, and I like the look. I'm still debating on if I want to do that, just because, you know, I don't want to make it too modern. I still want to keep that 1975 look going. But you know, that's also on my plate in the future. I might even do rear sets on the motorcycle to give it more aggressive stance when I'm riding it. But that's about it for my cafe racer. So I don't know if there's anything else to talk about it. I talked about the cafe racer, I talked about the FD race car, the Evo, the truck a little bit, the RX7, Rotary, and the Corvette. So like I said, basically I'm doing this video because I'm moving all my cars around so it doesn't get snowed on, it doesn't sit outside over the winter time, and you know, I can pull it out of the shop or put it out of the garage as I want to work on it or drive it. So thanks again for watching the video, guys. I hope this clarifies some of the questions about how much I spent on my cars and what my plans are for my toys. So thanks again. Let me know if you have any questions, leave in the comment section below, and make sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram for the latest updates on these cars, and I'll see you in my next vlog series. Peace.